Welcome back to the Igniting the Dreams Within podcast. We solve life and business problems that transform businesses and individuals into happier and fulfilled ones. I am your host, Ebenezer Mamabolo, and today we are continuing on part 4 of the self-leadership series, and we are talking about values-based leadership and values-based decision making. It's been said that your talent and your gifts will take you to the top, but it is your character that will keep you at the top. And my friends, as you and I will be leading our lives, there will be moments where you and I need to make the decisions that would affect our lives. And when we are making those decisions that will be affecting our lives, we need to base our decision making on our values. I like what one wise man or woman said. They said that we might be through with our sins, but our sins are not through with us. Yes, we might have changed and we might have been better people. We might have become better people today because of the mistakes and the choices that we had made yesterday. But we are not free from the consequences of those decisions or those mistakes that we did yesterday. It does not matter in which area of leadership you find yourself. You might be following someone else. You might be leading someone else. But you and I will own up. We will have to face up to the consequences of the decisions, of the choices that we have made. And on this podcast, we go deep and we share. I sit down yet again with Mr. Mafarafara and we talk about how do we make decisions for our lives? How do we make decisions for our businesses? How do we make decisions for our companies, for our organizations, based on the values that we hold true, based on the principles that we have subscribed to in our lives, based on the theology, based on the philosophy that you and I are living our lives. And if you've got a flawed philosophy, if you've got a flawed theology about decision making in your life, you will find yourself that you are making choices and you are making decisions. But when it's time for you to own up to the consequences of those decisions that you have made, you find yourself running away from responsibility. And I like what my mentor said over the weekend when we were in the Northwest, Mr. Nhlanhla G. And he gave an example. And let me rephrase the story and give the context of this. Imagine if you made and you are sitting with men around you, leaders in your community. And over the weekend, we were talking about the Proverbs 31 man. And while you are in that category and you are seated with men in your community, if you are a man and you are the Proverbs 31 man, you'll be a man of influence, a man who's got influence in the community. When other men are seated, where they are making decisions, when they are making values-based decisions that would guide the outcome of the community, that would chart the course of Africa, that would chart the course of your community, that would chart the course of South Africa. If you are a Proverbs 31 man, you will be there. Because you are not a man of small value. You are a man of value. You are a man whose input is valued because you are so great. And while you are making those values-based decisions that would be determining the course of the nation, determining the course of the community, determining the course of your family, when other men in the community were asked this question, Mr. Mamabolo was asked, Mr. Mamabolo, what are you taking? What are you taking to have so much energy, so much impact, so much influence that you want to impact South Africa, that you want to impact the community of Ramabolo, that you want to impact the community of Ramotap, that you want to impact the community of Ramabolo? What are you taking? And Mr. Mamabolo says, I am taking Red Bull. They ask Mr. Nhlanhla, they say, Mr. Nhlanhla, what are you taking to make the impact that you want to make in the children that you are teaching at your school? What's the impact that you want to make of the children that you are raising up in the community as a teacher? And Mr. Nhlanhla said, I am taking play. They ask Mr. Mamabolo, they say, Mr. Mamabolo, what are you taking to influence the community as the community leader? Mr. Mamabolo says, I am taking Monster Energy. They say, Mr. Mpatela, what are you taking? What are you taking to make sure that the leadership that you want to give, the leadership that you want to give to the youth in a community-based project, what are you taking? And he says, I am taking power play. And they come to Ebenezer Mamabolo and they say, sir, what are you taking to make the impact that you want to make, to transform followers into leaders who serve their gifts to better humanity? And I respond, I am taking responsibility. Taking responsibility for the leadership mandates that have been given by my Creator. Taking the responsibility to make sure that those under my care, those I am mentoring, those I am coaching, will be better equipped to face the world around you. And I would like to submit to you, my friend, are you taking responsibility for your own life? Are you taking responsibility for the people under your charge in your company? Are you taking responsibility for the advancement, the progress, the profitability of the department that's under your care, or the department that you have submitted under in your work? And if you are not taking responsibility for the success or the failure of whatever it is that's under your care or that's under your leadership, you are failing to use character building values to direct your life. And if you and I are going to succeed in advancing the human generation forward, we need to take responsibility for the choices that we are making about our lives, for the choices that we are making about our families, for the choices that we are making about our community. And my friend, if you lack the moral authority, if you lack the morals to hold you accountable when you're making those decisions, when the consequences of the decisions that you've been making own up and catch up to you, they will blindside you and they will whoop you and they will whoop you. And as I conclude, I am reminded of a story that my mentor Miles Monroe shared. And in his sermon, he talks about character in leadership. And he says that there was this famous author who was teaching a marriage seminar, and he loved him and he liked the work that he was doing and the way that the people that he had invited to his conference were touched by the guy's message. And he says that a few weeks later he hears that the very same guy who was teaching about how to have successful marriages and successful relationships was caught between scandals and him divorcing his wife. And upon hearing that, he called the bookshops around him and he said, "Take this man's book off the shelves. I don't want his work or his books influencing the Bahamas, because if what he was teaching us does not work for him and his marriage, then it shouldn't be taught to us and our communities." And I would like to submit to you, my friend, as you are listening to this podcast, if your life is not a reflection of what you are teaching, then you lack the moral authority. If the things that you are demanding of your children are not reflected in the decisions that you are making that would chart the course of the family, then you lack the moral authority And my friend, I would like to challenge you as you are thinking about your future as a leader, as you are thinking about making an impact in your community. What are some of the areas in your life or in your leadership that you need to impose or you need to implement or bring about values-based leadership thinking in those decisions that you are making? And if you want to learn more about values-based leadership and values-based decision-making, get Mr. Mafarafara's book on Step to the Next Level and step your life, step your marriage, step your business, step your leadership to the next level. Do enjoy the show. And now when we are thinking about these 3 dimensions, do you have some opportunities that maybe it might not be the opportunities from last year, opportunities that you maybe did not go into them because the way you were thinking or feeling about them, maybe it was not right or the time wasn't right. And in other words, or in a sense, do you also have got some things or some tools that you are using when you are evaluating the opportunities that you are getting, whether it's through speaking or it's through work or whatever? Do you also have got a criteria that you'll be thinking about? Say that, no, what am I thinking about this opportunity? Maybe you might not be using that criteria, but do you also have got things that you would share with the listeners so that when they are looking at the opportunities that they will be getting next year, yes, they would know how to evaluate those opportunities?
Yes, I think there is something that I can share on that.
Okay.
In my book, Step to the Next Level, there's a chapter where I talk about how to step to the next level. And one of those things that I talk about, it's a sense of identity. Who are you? And not just who are you, but who do you think you are?
Okay.
Because people can say who they are, but they're not thinking about it.
Oh, yes.
It's crammed statement. It's just a memory bank that they're able to withdraw from it without applying their mind.
Okay.
But that sense of identity is who do you think you are in the face of the world, in terms of your contribution, in terms of your impact, and in terms of what you love, in terms of what makes sense to you, what makes meaning to you, what is meaningful to you. Number 2, it's a sense of destiny. Where are you going? So where are you going as you are, as you that you've described? Where are you going in terms of what you're going to achieve? How are you going to achieve? Why do you want to achieve that?
Okay, wow.
Again, that's a separate thing. You can buy the book to get the rest of the stuff. Now, the other part is what you call values-based decision making.
Okay.
Hey, I'll summarize this.
Okay.
You might just invite me to speak and train you for this. So values-based decision making is to say, I need to get married. But if I need to get married, what are my values? What are my standards of living? What are the qualities that describe me when I'm sleeping? And that describe me when I'm awake? How do I make decisions about money? What does money mean to me? What does health mean to me? What does family mean to me? What does commitment mean to me? What does children mean to me? What does society mean to me? Those are things that are based on values. What does you contributing or dispensing yourself or giving yourself to other people mean to you? There's a book that I read. It's called The Compound Effect by Darren Hardy. And in that book, he says that he once wrote a 3-page list of description of qualities of the kind of woman that he want to marry. And then he showed the list to his friend after working on it several days. Reviewing, adding and removing certain qualities. And then his friend gave him a very nice look and then after reading the 3-page list of qualities of the woman that Darren Hardy can marry. And then his friend asked Darren and said, Darren, these are very nice qualities. Which ones of these are you able to deliver on? And then he realized, oh, now the picture changes. It's no longer about the woman that I want to marry. It's about me possessing certain qualities that are befitting for the woman that I want to marry.
Wow, yeah.
Here's the thing. In your decision making, opportunities will always present to a man that's ready.
Yes.
So you build yourself around values that enable and open you to a door of opportunity.
Okay.
You know that success happens when opportunity meets preparation. So it's not an accident. Sometimes it may look like it's an accident, but you were prepared in a particular way.
Yes.
Otherwise, you would not conceive it. You would not be able to deliver and give birth to it. So now, when you look at those things, you say, okay, there's past or present or future opportunities that may come. How do I leverage on those things? Build values that make you attractive to those particular opportunities.
Wow. Okay.
Here is the thing. Anybody can walk into the bank and ask for a business loan. Anyone have the right to do that. But not everybody has the capacity. Not everybody can be trusted enough by a bank to give a business loan.
Yes.
Who do those banks give business loans to? Those who are prepared and approve.
Yes.
They can prove, so to say, that they are prepared, document-wise.
Yes.
Whether the business is alive or it's yet to be alive from the business loan. If you produce a document that a bank can say, a bank will tell you that we want a business plan. We want financial projections. And the financial projections must show affordability to pay the loan and things like that. And it must show sustainability of the business in terms of profits.
Okay.
Can you deliver on those two things? Number three, it must also show that it is well run, or it will be well run by qualified or skilled and competent people.
Wow.
Can you deliver on that? Those are values. That we run a business using skilled, qualified, competent people. And this is described based on 1, 2. When we say people are qualified, this is what we mean. When we say people are competent, this is what we mean. When we say, all those things. So, when you say, how do you do that? It's the values.
Oh, wow.
Your values locate you in a particular space.
Okay.
If you are a liar, people who do not like lying do not associate with you. They easily repel.
Yes.
Even if you won't spend a lot of time. If you are a gossiper, people who do not gossip do not spend time with you. They easily keep quiet and distance themselves, and you will feel lonely. Why?
Okay.
Because you want to associate with people who do not gossip. But if you go on to people who gossip, they see you from far and already prepare a statement of a lie about somebody else, and they know that you can spend 6 weeks talking about nothing. So it doesn't work like that. With life and progress in your life, you need to be sure about what you stand for.
Wow. So yes, those values would help us to be able to make the decisions that we would be making. Wow.
Even to associate
with the right people.
With people. Even to evaluate the decisions that we make.
Wow.
Full stop.
Yeah, and definitely I do recommend that you get the book, Step to the Next Level. I'll attach the link and his contact so that you'll be able to buy the book from him. Thank you for tuning in to the Igniting the Dreams Within podcast as we talked about values-based leadership and values-based decision making. Next time on the last episode of the Self-Leadership series, the seats will be changing and it will be Mr. Mafarafara and I having a conversation. And Mr. Mafarafara will be asking me questions that I will be answering about how do I see my leadership edge? What do I do when I'm planning for a year? Stay tuned for the last episode of this series. Enjoy the show. I'll see you next time.